I never thought a joke could end a marriage. But looking back, it wasn't the joke itself, it was the truth hiding inside it. My name is Eleanor Whitmore, and until that night, I believed my marriage was stable enough to survive a little public humor. I was wrong, and the speed at which everything collapsed still startles me when I think about it. My husband, Nathaniel Crow, was never the loud one in a room. He wasn't shy, just reserved, the kind of man who listened more than he spoke. We had been married 11 years, built a comfortable life in a quiet suburb, paid our bills on time, hosted dinners, and looked, from the outside, like a couple who had figured things out. I always thought stability meant strength. That night was a friend's birthday, a crowded restaurant, laughter bouncing off brick walls, glasses clinking, everyone relaxed. Conversation drifted toward relationships, as it always does when people drink enough wine. Someone teased me about being married to the responsible one, and without thinking, I smiled and said, "Well, someone has to make sure Nathaniel doesn't forget how to have fun." People laughed. I laughed too. Nathaniel didn't. He smiled politely, but I felt something shift beside me. Still, I kept going, feeding off the attention, adding another line about how he schedules everything, even spontaneity. More laughter, more approval. I told myself it was harmless, that couples joke like this all the time, that he knew I didn't mean it. Then someone said, "Nathaniel, how do you put up with her?" It was meant playfully. He took a sip of his drink, set the glass down, and said calmly, "I put up with a lot, actually." The table went quiet, but I chuckled, trying to smooth it over. "See," I said, "he admits it." That's when he looked directly at me, not angry, not raised voice, just steady, and said, "You enjoy laughing at me more than you enjoy respecting me." No joke, no smile, just that sentence. Then he stood up, placed his napkin on the table, and said to everyone, "Thank you for the evening." He walked out. I sat frozen, cheeks burning, laughter replaced by awkward silence. People avoided my eyes. Someone whispered, "Are you okay?" I nodded, embarrassed, irritated, more concerned about how it looked than what it meant. I told myself he was being dramatic. I paid the bill, drove home, rehearsed a speech about overreacting and how he needed thicker skin. The house was dark when I arrived. His keys weren't on the counter. His shoes weren't by the door. I texted him, joking at first, then annoyed, then worried. No response. I slept alone, angry enough to justify myself, but unsettled by the echo of his words. The next morning, I found a note on the kitchen table. It wasn't long. It said, "I'm not leaving because of one joke. I'm leaving because it showed me how little my dignity matters to you." There was no accusation, no insults, just that. Beneath it, he had written, "I need distance to decide what I'm willing to live with." I felt defensive immediately. I listed everything I had done for him, the compromises, the support, the years. I told myself everyone jokes, everyone slips. But as the day went on, moments replayed themselves, small comments I had made over the years, casual dismissals, eye rolls, little laughs at his expense. I had called it humor. He had felt it as erosion. Friends took my side at first. "He's too sensitive," they said. "He'll cool off." But days turned into weeks. Nathaniel stayed with his brother. When we finally spoke, his voice was calm, distant. He said, "I realized something that night. I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel protected." That word stung more than anger would have. I tried to explain my intention. He said intentions don't undo patterns. He told me that respect isn't proven privately and violated publicly. He said the joke wasn't the end, it was the clarity. He had spent years shrinking himself to keep the peace, and that moment showed him it would never be enough. We started separation paperwork quietly, without fights or tears. People were shocked. They wanted drama, betrayal, something obvious. There wasn't any. Just the understanding that love without respect becomes loneliness. When it was over, I realized something painful. I hadn't lost him because I embarrassed him once. I lost him because I never noticed how often I did it.